Hello and welcome to Jaeger ASMR. So this is going to be different from my first two videos because, well, I'm bored and I want to do something a little different. I'm going to be reading a Larry X listener. Just another trigger warning. It has suicide or suicide thoughts and tendencies throughout this story. And this will all be one part, and for the rest of my channel, I will be doing a bunch of, different things while I do, different stories. But don't worry, it won't be that much of a difference between each, stories that I do. So, alright, let's get into this. Okay. And just know, just a huge trigger warning, okay? And this is a Larry X reader. Here, where's the beginning? 1 second, let me find it. Okay, and I'll be reading this like I was you, because I want to do a little bit more of a relaxed reading. And just know, in this story, you are 24, and Larry is at the age of 26. And just know I will be reading like if I was you, so I can have a little bit more relaxed reading. Okay. Your point of view. I have been together with Larry for about 5 years. We love each other dearly. But recently, he hasn't been the same as he used to. For a couple months now, he has acted very distanced from me. I decided to put an end to it. My footsteps echoed through the halls as I was deep in thought. I was on my way to Larry's apartment to hang out with him. He asked me to come over despite how late it was. As I rode the elevator down to the basement, I began to think about the little things he would feel sad or upset over. I knit my eyebrows together, the ding of the elevator announcing I had arrived on my floor, snapping me from deep in thought. Snapping me from my deep thought. I walked out of the elevator, then going to his door. I knocked on it gently, waiting for a response. Then the door opened and Larry greeted me. He looked a bit different. His long hair was ruffled, his eyes looked like they had worse bags under them. "Hey, babe," he said, a small smile curling onto his thin lips as he pecked a kiss on my forehead. I smiled up at him, walking into the apartment. I inhaled, loving the way it smelled like him, and only him. It comforted me. After Lisa and Henry got together, they moved into Sal's old apartment. Sal moved into another room so that Lisa and Henry could have their space. "So, what do you want to do first?" So, what do you want to do first? I asked, looking around the unusually messy apartment. I was thinking about laying on the couch and watching a movie. Maybe you and I could make some snacks, Larry suggested, taking my hand and leading me to the kitchen. I followed him, then opening the fridge to see if I could make nachos or something. That's when I noticed there was barely anything in the damned thing, except for some sauces and a bottle of sweet tea. "Larry Johnson," I said, turning to him and putting my hand on my hip. He looked back up at me from rummaging through the cabinets. "What's wrong?" he asked, looking a bit startled. "Baby, let's just forget the snacks. You literally have nothing in your fridge. How do you eat?" I scolded, the brunette looking down. "I don't really eat much," he said, looking up at me. I sighed, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Come here," I said softer than rather scowling him. I took his large hand in mine and led him to the couch. We both sat down. I turned to him. Larry, is there something going on? I asked gently, both my hands then gripping onto his comfortably. Larry looked at me confusingly, his black eyes searching mine. What do you mean? He asked, his voice sounding a bit scared. You're acting differently, sadder. You barely listen to Sandy's Fall anymore. You have no food in your fridge, and you've been wearing long sleeve shirts in 80-degree weather. When was the last time you were outside? I tried to explain. Then, looking closer at him, he began fidgeting. I don't really want to talk about it. He dismissed, looking away. He tried pulling his hands back, pulling his sleeves over his wrists again. That's when it clicked for me. Long sleeve shirts, the change in mood, not eating. Larry, baby, let me see your hand, I told him, putting my hand out for him. He shifted uncomfortably. He slowly put his arm into mine, looking up at my face carefully. Okay, trigger warning for this, alright? I pulled up his sleeve to expose his forearm and let out a little gasp. There were tons of these large cuts on his wrists, some healing, some scarred, and some fairly new. Lair, why would you be doing this to yourself? You know that so many people care for you, right? We were all here for you. I looked up at his face. He had tears streaming down his cheeks. I know, I just can't deal with all this anymore. I feel like I'm at fault for my dad not being here and causing my mom so much shit. I'm just a stupid stoner, he sobbed. I couldn't take it. I went to his bathroom, opening the mirror on the wall and finding the first aid kit. I put both his forearms in my lap. I wiped them down with alcohol, then wrapped them with gauze. Don't ever think you're at fault for your dad. I'm sure he'll come back. I leaned down and kissed each of his forearms gently before covering them again with his sleeves. And if anything, you are my stupid stoner. I will always be here for you, Larry. Your mom and I will be until he gets back, okay? But for right now, you are staying at my place until you can get out of this mindset. I then hugged him tightly, which only made Larry cry it out harder. I'm sorry, he murmured. Don't be. I love you so much. Never forget that. I love you too, Ryan. Thank you. Alright, that should be the end of it. And remember, this is just a little thing that, every now and then I'll do, a little video for when I'm, bored and want to do something besides the series that I'm doing. So, if you have any suggestions, I am open to anything, as always. Bye!